Have you ever had a dream and then talked yourself out of it before you even tried? Not because it was impossible, not because you lacked the ability, but because a small, quiet voice inside you asked, "What will people think?" Maybe you wanted to start a business, but you thought, "What if my family thinks I am being foolish? What if they look at me differently? What if I try and everyone watches me fail?" Maybe you wanted to leave a job that was killing you slowly, but you thought, "What will my friends say? What will my colleagues think? What will happen to how people see me?" Maybe you wanted to wear something different, speak your mind, take a different path in life, but you stopped. You waited. You stayed small, because somewhere along the way, you learned to live inside the opinions of other people. And it has cost you more than you know. Hello everyone, welcome back. Today's lesson is going to be different. It is simple English, but it carries a powerful meaning, and I believe it is exactly what many of you need to hear right now. Today we are going to talk about one of the most invisible prisons in the world, the prison of other people's opinions. By the end of this lesson, something inside you will shift, a door will open, and once you walk through it, you will not want to go back. This is not about becoming cold. This is not about being rude or ignoring everyone around you. This is about something deeper. It is about taking your own life back. Because here is what I have learned, and here is what the most free people in the world understand. Their opinion is not your life. You were not born to perform for an audience. You were not born to shrink yourself so that other people feel comfortable. You were born to live, fully, honestly, on your own terms. So let us begin. Before we talk about how to stop, we need to understand why we started. Why do we care so much about what other people think? Where does this come from? The answer goes back thousands of years. A long, long time ago, humans did not live alone. We lived in groups, small tribes of people who depended on each other to survive. If you were accepted by the tribe, you had food, shelter, and protection. If you were rejected by the tribe, you were alone, and alone, in that ancient world, meant danger. It meant death. So our brains learned a very important lesson. Belong, fit in, do not stand out too much, do not make the others uncomfortable. Because rejection is not just painful, rejection is dangerous. That lesson is still inside you today. Every time you worry about what someone thinks of you, that is your ancient brain trying to protect you. It is trying to keep you safe. It is trying to keep you in the tribe. The problem is, you are not living in a tribe anymore. You are not going to die because someone at work thinks your idea is strange. You are not going to lose your home because a stranger on the internet does not like your photo. You are not going to starve because your neighbor disapproves of your choices. The danger is gone, but the fear is still here. And in the modern world, something has made this fear much, much worse. Social media. Every day, millions of people post their lives online and wait. They wait for likes. They wait for comments. They wait for someone to say, "You are good, you are accepted, you belong." Each like is a small hit of happiness. Each silence is a small moment of doubt. We have built a world where the approval loop never ends, where you can check, anytime, any moment, day or night, what other people think of you, where your sense of worth can rise and fall based on a number on a screen. And the more you check, the more you need it. But here is the thing. Here is what nobody tells you when you are growing up. The wiring is old, the world has changed. You are not in danger. You are not going to be left behind. You are not going to lose everything because someone disapproves of your choices. You are safe. And when you truly understand that, something starts to loosen inside you. A grip you have been holding for a very long time begins to relax. Your shoulders drop. Your breath comes easier. The invisible weight you have been carrying starts to lift. You do not need the tribe's approval anymore. You never did. So we know where the fear comes from. But let us talk about what it is actually doing to your life. Because the cost of caring too much about what others think is not small. It is not just a little discomfort here and there. It touches everything. It shapes every decision, every choice, every step you take or do not take. Let us look at 4 areas. The first is your career. Think about this. How many people are working jobs they hate, not because they have no other options, but because changing would mean explaining themselves to other people? What will my parents say if I leave this stable job? What will my colleagues think if I try something new and fail? What will people say if I start a business and it does not work? So they stay, year after year, Monday morning after Monday morning, doing work that does not excite them, that does not challenge them, that does not mean anything to them. The days blur together, the years pass, and somewhere deep inside, a version of them that was braver, bolder, freer, quietly fades. Not because they could not leave, but because they were afraid of the conversation. The second area is relationships. There are people right now who are staying in relationships that make them unhappy, not because they love the other person deeply, not because things are getting better, but because leaving would mean facing questions, facing looks, facing the quiet judgment of people who do not even know the full story. What will people think? What will they say? So they stay, and they grow smaller day by day, piece by piece, until one morning they look in the mirror and barely recognize the person looking back. The third area is creativity. You have something inside you, a song, a painting, a story, an idea, something you have been carrying for years, maybe decades, but you have never shown it to the world. Because what if people laugh? What if they say it is not good enough? What if they say you are too old, too late, too ordinary to create something worth seeing? So the song stays unsung, the painting stays unfinished, the idea stays locked inside, and every year it grows a little heavier, a little quieter, a little more distant. The fourth area is the small everyday moments. What you wear in the morning, what you order at a restaurant, whether you speak up in a meeting or stay quiet, whether you take the class, join the group, send the message, raise your hand, say what you really think. Every day, dozens of tiny moments where you filter your own life through an invisible audience, where you ask permission before you even realize you are asking. And here is the saddest part. Most of the people you are performing for are not even watching. They are busy, they are distracted, they are scrolling, rushing, worrying, living their own complicated lives. They are thinking about their own problems, their own fears, their own versions of this same invisible audience. The crowd you have been living for does not exist the way you imagine. And the sooner you feel that truth in your bones, the sooner you start to breathe again. Lesson 1. Their opinion is a mirror, not a map. Let me explain what that means. When someone looks at your life and says, "That will never work," they are not giving you information about your future. They are giving you information about their past, about their own fears, their own failed attempts, their own dreams they gave up on, their own limits. When someone tells you your dream is too big, what they are really saying is, "I tried something big once, and it scared me," or, "I never tried at all, and now I need to believe it was impossible." Either way, they are not describing your road. They are describing their own. A mirror shows you what is in front of it, but it cannot show you where you are going. It cannot tell you what is possible for you. It can only reflect what is already there. Other people's opinions work the same way. They reflect the person giving them, not the person receiving them. Think about Vincent van Gogh. Van Gogh was a painter who lived in the 1800s. During his lifetime, almost nobody believed in his work. Critics said his style was wrong. Friends said he was wasting his time. Even his own family worried about him. wondered if he would ever amount to anything. He sold only one painting while he was alive. Just one. And yet today, his paintings hang in the greatest museums in the world. People travel thousands of miles just to stand in front of them for a few quiet minutes. His work is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. His name is known by children in schools across every continent. What if he had believed the mirror? What if he had taken those opinions as a map and turned back? We would have lost something irreplaceable, and so would he. He would have traded his one true life for the comfort of other people's approval. Now think about your own life. Think about one dream you have that other people have called unrealistic. One idea that someone told you was too much, too strange, too late. Ask yourself this question. Was that person living the life you want to live? Were they someone who had done what you want to do? Were they speaking from experience, from wisdom, from genuine knowledge of your situation? Or were they simply afraid? Afraid for you, or afraid because of their own unfinished story? Most of the time, judgment comes from people who are standing still, watching others move forward, and feeling uncomfortable about it. Their discomfort is not your direction. Their doubt is not your destiny. Their fear is not your future. When someone holds up a mirror and says, "This is who you are," you do not have to believe the reflection. You are allowed to put down the mirror, turn around, and keep walking. Because their opinion is not a map. It never was. Lesson 2. Approval is a cage with an open door. Read that slowly. A cage with an open door. You are not locked in. You were never locked in. The door has been open this entire time. But something kept you inside. Not a lock, not a chain, something quieter than that. The hope that if you waited long enough, performed well enough, shrunk yourself small enough, eventually everyone would approve. Eventually the people whose opinions you feared would look at you and say, "Yes, you are enough. You can go now." But that moment never comes. Because approval from others is not a destination, it is a moving target. The moment you reach it, it moves again. There is always one more person to impress, one more standard to meet, one more version of yourself to perform. The finish line keeps moving, and the race never ends. And while you are busy chasing it, your real life is waiting. Think about Joanne Rowling. Before the world knew her as J.K. Rowling, she was a single mother living in a small apartment in Edinburgh, Scotland. She had very little money. She was struggling to pay her bills. She was exhausted. And she had a manuscript. A handwritten story about a boy who discovers he is a wizard. She sent that manuscript to publishers. 12 of them said no, not one or two. 12. 12 separate people, each of them an expert in books and stories. Each of them looked at what she had created and said, "This is not good enough." Each rejection was a voice saying, "This is not good enough. You are not good enough. Stop." Most people would have listened. Most people would have walked back into the cage, closed the door behind them, and decided that the world had spoken. She did not. She sent it to one more publisher, and that publisher said yes. Harry Potter went on to become one of the most loved stories in human history. It has been translated into over 80 languages. It has been read by hundreds of millions of people around the world. Children who grew up with those books are now adults who read them to their own children. 12 voices said no. She chose not to live inside those 12 opinions. Now think about the cage in your own life. What is it that you keep almost doing? What is the thing you start and then stop, because somewhere in the middle you hear a voice, real or imagined, that makes you doubt? What would you do if you knew, truly knew, that nobody was judging you? Would you send the email, start the project, have the honest conversation, take the leap, book the flight, write the first page? The door is open. It has always been open. Approval feels safe, But safety is not the same as freedom. You can be perfectly safe inside a cage and still spend your whole life behind bars. Freedom feels different. It feels uncertain at first, a little cold, a little exposed, like stepping outside without knowing exactly what the weather will be. But on the other side of that uncertainty is something extraordinary. It is the feeling of living your actual life, not a performance of it, not a carefully edited version designed for other people. Your life, raw and real and entirely yours. The door is open. Walk through it. Lesson 3. Nobody is watching as much as you think. This one might be the most important lesson of all, and it is also the strangest one. Because once you truly understand it, you will feel something that is equal parts relief and embarrassment. Relief, because the audience you feared was never as big as you imagined. Embarrassment, because you spent so much energy performing for people who were barely paying attention. Let me tell you about a study. Psychologists at Cornell University ran an experiment. They asked a group of students to wear a shirt with a large, embarrassing image on it, and then walk into a room full of other students. The students wearing the shirt were certain that everyone in the room would notice immediately. They were sure the image would be the first thing people saw, the thing everyone remembered. But when researchers asked the people in the room what they remembered, almost nobody recalled the shirt at all. The students had imagined an audience of judges. What they found was a room full of people thinking about themselves. This is called the spotlight effect, the feeling that you are always on stage, that the world is always watching, that every mistake, every stumble, every imperfect moment is being recorded and remembered by the people around you. And it is happening in your life every single day. But here is the reality. People are not watching the way you imagine. They are busy. They are worried about their own shirts, their own mistakes, their own moments of awkwardness they are certain everyone noticed. The spotlight you feel burning on yourself exists almost entirely inside your own mind. Think about Oprah Winfrey. Early in her career, Oprah was fired from her job as a television reporter. The people who let her go said she was too emotional, not professional enough, not the right fit for television. The very thing she had worked toward, the thing she believed she was made for, someone looked at it and said, "No, not you, not this." For a moment, imagine being told that. Imagine being 22 years old, or 25, and hearing those words. Imagine how heavy they would feel. Imagine carrying them home that evening, wondering if the people who judged you were right. But here is what happened. Oprah did not disappear. She did not hide. She did not let those opinions write the rest of her story. She moved forward. She found her voice. She built something that the people who fired her could never have imagined, could never have predicted, could never have dreamed. The people who judged her early on have long been forgotten. She has not. Now bring it back to you. Think about the last time you did not do something because you were afraid of being watched, afraid of being judged, afraid that people would see you try and fall short. What if you had known then what you know now, that the spotlight is mostly in your head, that the crowd is mostly imaginary, that the people around you are far too busy navigating their own lives to keep a careful, detailed record of yours? And here is the part that changes everything. The judge you fear most is not out there. It is in here. You are the one keeping score. You are the one replaying the awkward moments at 2 in the morning when the room is dark and quiet. You are the one who remembers every stumble, every wrong word, every moment you wish you could take back, long after everyone else has moved on and forgotten completely. The harshest critic in your life lives inside your own mind. And that means you have more power than you think. Because you can choose what that voice says next. You can decide to change the story it tells. You can decide to turn down the volume, to question the verdict, to stop the replay. Their opinion is not your life. And most of the time, their opinion is barely even formed. Lesson 4. Your life is the only one you get. I want you to do something for a moment. I want you to close your eyes if you can, and imagine yourself at 80 years old. You are sitting in a comfortable chair by a window. The light is soft and golden. The room is quiet, and you are looking back, not forward. Back through the decades, back through the years, back at the choices you made and the ones you did not make, the roads you took and the ones you stood at the edge of and walked away from. What do you see? Do you see the times you held back because of what someone might think? Do you see the dreams you did not chase because the fear of judgment was louder than the pull of your own heart? Do you see the conversations you never had, the things you never created, the life you kept almost living? Or do you see something else? Do you see the moment you finally said, "Enough"? The day you stopped asking for permission to be yourself. The morning you woke up and decided that your one life was too precious, too short, too irreplaceable to be lived inside someone else's opinion. A great Roman emperor named Marcus Aurelius wrote something almost 2,000 years ago that still rings true today. He understood that we cannot control what happens around us. We cannot control what people say or think or feel about us. The only thing we can truly control is what happens inside us, how we respond, what we choose, who we decide to be, day after day, year after year. That wisdom is not old, it is timeless. And it points to one simple truth. The opinions of others are outside your control. Your response to them is not. Now think about Elon Musk. When he said he wanted to build electric cars that people would actually want to drive, most people in the industry laughed. When he said he wanted to send rockets to space as a private company, serious engineers, experienced investors, respected journalists called him delusional. One well-known publication wrote that his rocket company would fail within months. Others said he was throwing his money away on impossible dreams. He did not spend his days defending himself to the doubters. He did not beg people to believe in him. He did not wait for the world's approval before he took the next step. He went back to work. Today, his cars move quietly down roads in nearly every country on Earth. His rockets have carried astronauts to space and returned to land themselves upright, like something from a science fiction film made real. The people who laughed are still talking about him. He is still building. Your situation may not be as large as that. Most of ours are not, but the principle is exactly the same. The people who judge you will forget. Life moves fast, opinions fade, conversations end. But you will remember. You will remember every moment you chose yourself, every time you stepped forward despite the fear, every morning you decided that your dream mattered more than someone's doubt. Those moments stay with you. They build something inside you that no opinion can touch, a quiet confidence, a deep, settled knowing, a sense that you are living your actual life, not a carefully edited version of it assembled to keep everyone around you comfortable. You get one life, just one. Not a practice run, not a rehearsal you can redo when you finally feel ready. This is it. These are the days. And they are far too short and far too extraordinary to spend looking over your shoulder. Their opinion is not your life. Your life is your life, and it is waiting for you. We have covered a lot of ground today. Let us bring it all together. Lesson 1. Their opinion is a mirror, not a map. When people judge you, they are reflecting their own fears, their own limits, their own unfinished story, not yours. Do not use their mirror as your direction. Lesson 2. Approval is a cage with an open door. You were never locked in. The door has always been open. You are allowed to walk through it any time you choose. Lesson 3. Nobody is watching as much as you think. The spotlight you feel exists mostly inside your own mind. The crowd you fear is too busy living their own lives to keep careful score of yours. Lesson 4. Your life is the only one you get. One life, no rehearsal. Too short and too precious to spend performing for an audience that will forget the show long before you do. 4 lessons. One truth running through all of them. Their opinion is not your life. Hold that. Let it settle somewhere deep. You were not born to be small. You were not born to edit yourself down until you fit comfortably inside someone else's idea of who you should be. You were born with something real inside you. Something worth expressing. Something the world needs, even if the world does not know it yet. The most free people you have ever met are not people without fear. They still feel the pull of judgment. They still hear the voices. But they have made a decision. A quiet, firm, unshakable decision that their one life belongs to them. Not to the voices, not to the audience, to them. Make that decision today, not tomorrow. Not when the timing is better or the conditions are perfect or when you feel more ready. Today. Because today is the only day you are absolutely certain you have. Now I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, what is one thing you would do differently if you truly stopped caring what others think? Write it down, say it out loud, make it real. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Keep listening to English stories and lessons like this one. Keep growing, and keep choosing yourself. Until next time, goodbye.